Hello, everybody. Welcome to Big Tuna Tarot. And I do have my astrologer, Cindy Dodge, here today. And we're going to lay down what's going on in the stars. And she's going to go through the astrology. We're going to cover this mid-month cycle, this last 6 months, to see what we can do with this energy that's in front of us. She's going to lay out the last 6 months and also cover the front end for the stars and what's ahead for us. I'm going to capture the now energy in the oracle, so preparing us for the journey of the energy we might create and find there. So enough about that. Please like and subscribe. We're working on this for everybody and ourselves, and hope you enjoy what we have planned today. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Cindy, for being my Aquarian partner here, and these videos we get to do and the magic we're going to bring to the world here. So Cindy, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Brett. Yeah, so we committed to doing this, and so I was thinking about I know originally we thought we would just talk about the full moon coming up this weekend, but then I got to thinking about what really is the message here, because it just feels like so much has happened. I know so much has happened in your life, so much has happened in my life, so much has happened in all of my friends and family around me, and I'm sure you too, and all of our listeners out there, I'm sure a lot has happened in their lives too, even just since the beginning of this year. And so sometimes, I think that we forget to applaud ourselves for everything that we've been through, and whether those are good things or bad things, we don't even applaud ourselves a lot of times for all the good things that we do. So one of the ways that I use to remind myself of how far I've come, or what I've been through, or where I need to have patience, because patience is my word that I chose for this year, and it couldn't be a more appropriate word for this year, but is to look back and to see, so that we can kind of pat ourselves on the back and say, woo, yeah, we made it through that, and this is the lesson that I learned, or this is what happened, and this is where I'm headed, or this is where I need to reevaluate. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this. I just kind of want to hit some of the highlights. So, and starting right back in January, and why this is really important is I am going to talk about all of the retrogrades this year, but we started the year with a retrograde in Mars. And so that, and Mercury. So that is like bookending our year, because Mercury will also be retrograde at the end of this year again. And so, here we are, supposed to be having all these joyous holidays and everything. And we've got Mercury in the mix, like stirring up everything with travel plans and communication and electronics and cars and, washers breaking down and whatever it may be that Mercury's going to hit on for us. So, we saw that right at the beginning of the year. And then with Mars there too, in retrograde, when it's in retrograde, it brings a lot of frustration. It is the planet of action, right? And so when it's in retrograde, we can't always move as fast as we want or take actions as fast as we want. So, that was the beginning of our year right off the get-go. And so now, then we went into March, and we actually have a couple of videos out there if you want to go back and review those. But Saturn went into Pisces, and on the 20th on March 7th, and then Pluto retrograde into Aquarius on March 23rd. So again, those are two big hitters. Saturn is like our planet of lessons, right? What we're here to learn. And so it shifted signs from Aquarius to Pisces, and the same with Pluto. Pluto is the planet that kind of tears things down before it can rebuild them. And, it moved from, it went into retrograde actually from Capricorn to Aquarius. And in our video there, you will learn that, it's shifting back and forth now through the rest of this year, until 2024, where it will finally station forward in Aquarius. So we've got like 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future. And the past was all about, building structure and hierarchy and everything that we saw in big business and politics. And now, Aquarius has us kind of with 1 foot in the future, wanting to, start to take care of ourselves and take care of humanity and find new ways through technology and, just kind of new ways of doing things. So, that all happened in March. I mean, like, whoa, right there was just like craziness. And so then in May, Jupiter moved into Taurus. So, Jupiter is the planet of expansion and the planet of like good luck. And it was in Aries, which Aries is a fire sign. And Aries is like, yes, Jupiter, let's just go big or go home kind of thing, and then it hits Taurus. And Taurus is like, whoa, let's put the brakes on here. We do we really have all the stability that we want with all those big ideas and all that fast action that we had when Jupiter was in Aries? So, to me, that was kind of the start of the slowdown for us. And we can see this theme, kind of continue as we went then through the eclipses, because with the eclipses, we were still and those were in April and May, and we were still in the Scorpio Taurus axis. Well, Scorpio is a water sign and Taurus is an earth sign. So water feeds earth, but it can also turn it into mud, right? So now, once again, here we are, we're like being forced to look back at themes from that started upwards to 18 years ago, and how those themes have now come full circle through all of those 18 years, and they might have come to an end, and they might have come to a sudden end. And depending on where those eclipses hit in your chart, really depends on how they affected you. But they were specifically potent, this eclipse series, because those nodes are also changing. So the next series of eclipse are going to be in Aries and Libra, which is going to be the tug or the yin and the yang between the I and the we, right? Aries is all about I and Libra is all about we. So, very, very, very different energy with these nodal shifts. So, but with the last eclipse that we had, without knowing where it is in your chart, which is, it's still not too late if you want to know where those eclipses hit your chart and where all these planets are sitting currently in your chart. You can go to my website at ladyorising.com and book an appointment with me. And, I'm happy to walk you through all that and kind of make some more specific sense to, what we're trying to present today, because today we can only talk in generalities as it has to apply to everybody. But, if you were in a fix, huh?
I said, I just need to say, you enlighten me with how, you just read for me my stars, what's coming up, and you were so spot on. So I just want to exercise and tell you how much you make me see and make me help the decisions I need to make with my own free will, how to make them right and do them right.
Yeah. I'm so glad. And I really, and that's my passion. And I hope that I can bring that energy to our audience too, so that, even though I might not be speaking specifically to you, that, you can feel the energy or and feel how it may have impacted you, and kind of sense that for yourself, because even though you may not have had your chart read, it's already impacting you in ways that whether I tell you where that's impacting you or not. But yeah, so things were coming up with those eclipses in terms of imbalances in relationships. If you were in the fixed signs like Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and this could be your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign, or maybe you're in a mutable sign like Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. This was all about how you're going to move forward with a new version of yourself. It was the eclipses are meant to be a real transformative time for you. And then for the cardinal signs, it just depends. So those are going to be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And it's all about either what your ideal career is going to be, what your ideal relationship is going to be, what your ideal home is going to look like. What were you shedding from the past in those areas that you needed to move forward? So we got that hit, right? We got that in April, in May, and it brought up maybe some sudden change, but maybe not. It could take some time for all of that to kind of integrate over the next few months. But then, like I said, we got all of these retrogrades to deal with. And normally in any given year, all planets go retrograde, and some of them go retrograde every single year. Like Mercury, we know that goes retrograde, twice a year. I'm sorry, 4 times a year. But other planets, because of the timing of how long it takes them to go retrograde, they don't always retrograde every single year. But in 2023, it's probably no guess that most all of them are going to go retrograde, because again, we just keep getting hit with all this energy, really since, when I think about it, since 2000 in like 2021, when we went through COVID. That in itself was a huge energy shift that is still continuing to play out here over these next few years. So again, I talked about Mercury already. That bookended. It started our year and will end our year, kind of scrambling things up at the end of the year, probably leading you to reevaluate some things and make some new decisions after the first of the year. And then we already talked about Mars, and we already talked about Pluto is currently in retrograde. In fact, it moved retrograde into Aquarius, but now it's about to move back in to Capricorn for a little while longer, and then we'll go back to Aquarius again. So, and then we have Saturn, right? Okay, so Saturn goes retrograde on June 17th through November 4th, and it's going to be in Pisces, which is the sign that it's in right now. And so, because it's there to teach us lessons and all that shedding that we just did with those eclipses, it's going to make sure, that's why it's retrograde is pretty timely with these eclipses, is because it wants to stall our progress a little bit. It wants to make sure that we don't need to go back to the drawing board, and that we don't need to do things a little bit differently. It wants us to, put order to whatever steps we're trying to take before we actually move forward. And it really wants you to learn from any triggers or traumas that you may have experienced over all of this energy in the first part of this year and through those eclipses. So use this Saturn time through the summer, which actually, in my mind, summer is a good time because we're really preoccupied, right? We're trying to be out there having fun. We're trying to be out in the weather. Well, when you're out there enjoying, Mother Earth, so to speak, use that time too to let that, warmth of the summer energy to help you to reflect while Saturn is in that retrograde, so that you can release and learn from those lessons you needed to learn from. But then on top of that, then at the end of the month, at the end of June through the end of the year, the beginning of December, Neptune goes retrograde. Now, remember, Neptune is like the planet that brings kind of like fogginess, or, like we're not quite grounded. We're not quite in reality. We're dreaming. We're putting on the rose-colored glasses, so to speak. So, again, Neptune wants to give us a reality check. It wants to make sure that we're not going to fall to all of our temptations, right? We're not going to fall back into escapism. We're not going to, fall back into negative patterns of thought, or and it'll be challenging, because it might be kind of that woe is me, like all this energy has been so intense, and Saturn's right there trying to teach us a lesson, through that retrograde. And then Neptune's going to add like, oh, and by the way, let me add a little bit more fog to that, and let me have you put on your rose colored glasses.
Yeah.
So I just really want to point that out to you, because whenever you start to like kind of relapse into those feelings, or any repeating or destructive behavior, whatever that may be, that's Neptune testing you. And don't succumb to that Neptune retrograde. Okay. And then, probably depending on where like Venus falls for you, but in July, Venus is also going to go retrograde. Venus is about relationships, love of ourselves, love of others, our values, and again, when it goes retrograde, it kind of dampens, the energy, that all of the overflowing love and conviction to our values that Venus brings kind of puts a damper on that, right? And you might be questioning, what do I love, or what do I want to create? Venus can also be, all about creating. And so, just be aware of that too, that Neptune and that Venus. And especially because Venus is retrograding in Leo, and Leo's the opposite. Leo wants us to be like all out there and all shining and being that proud, lion that they are. And then, we put Venus, their planet, or the planet of Venus in retrograde in Leo, which is just like counter to everything that Leo wants to shine out in this world. And then on top of that, okay, so here we go. Now in August, Uranus is going to go retrograde too. And in Taurus, again, no surprise, there are so many planets in Taurus too. And again, that's because after these eclipses, all the Taurus energy, no matter what planet it is in, it wants to slow us down. It wants to make sure we're moving steadily. It wants to make sure we're creating stability for ourselves, right? Well, Uranus is the planet of like change, right? It's the innovator. It's the, like when we even think about collectively, well, like with AI, right? So Uranus would normally be like out there promoting AI like all day long, right? Because it's a new technology. It's going to move the culture forward. It's going to change the way we interact with each other, and so on and so forth. Well, yeah, but when it goes retrograde in Taurus, that's going to say, whoa, hold on. Is that really the kind of change that we want to make? And how about this? How fast do we want to make that change? Maybe we do want to make that change, but we need to slow our roll, right? Slow our roll. So be mindful of all of your change if you're going to be making any change, because it will be retrograde from August 23rd through January. And then Jupiter's gonna go retrograde, and guess what sign it's going retrograde in, Brett?
Mr. Pisces?
No.
Nope. I don't know.
Taurus.
Taurus.
It's going retrograde in Taurus, because like I just said, Taurus is like, it's I just see it kind of, and I love Taurus because my Taurus friends, they are some of the most stable friends I have. They're always there for you. They'll go the ninth degree for you. And they're great people because of their sturdiness and their stability. For some of us, that just seems like, oh my God, how can you live your life that way? Like, I need more action, I need more fire. Or how can you be so grounded? Like, don't you want to think about the pie in the sky like all the mutable signs do? Taurus is just like that bull, right? It's that sturdy, steady bull. So Jupiter goes retrograde in Taurus from September through the end of the year again. And it because we've gone through so much rapid change, or we're trying to move towards change, that Jupiter is just going to be like, okay, well, I want you to do that because I want I want expansion, but let's just make sure that we got all of our resources in order so that, like for maybe you and I, if we're building a business, maybe we're thinking about like new avenues to, share our knowledge and our wisdom and our gifts with other people. Those are resources. And that's what Jupiter is going to be helping us do as it goes retrograde, to bring some stability to maybe our careers, if we're going to look at just that topic area. Okay, so that was the end of the retrogrades. Did I not like basically talk about every single planet that's out there?
And that's
right?
been going a couple years where we get like 5 and 6 planets retrograding at the same time, right? I mean, that's been the last.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like about it earlier. It's just a shit show too of just when can we get out of this? When is it going to change?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
been promoting us to change since all this happened, right? I mean, and hopefully we have changed in a good way.
Right.
It
Well,
is
before we go on, we got to talk about the full moon, because that's what we were here for. And the full moon really is very important in this whole kind of like, if we're going to think of it like as a saga about this coming up full moon. This full moon is on June 3rd, which is just in a couple of days, right? But remember, full moons, they last, and new moons both last over, their energies last over a few days. A new moon is when we manifest, when we think about all the new things we want to do. And the full moon is when we release. Well, the reason why this full moon is really important is because, again, we still have all this residual energy from that eclipse that may need to release. So the full moon is in Sagittarius, but our sun is currently in Gemini. And that's kind of really important to point out with this full moon too, because Gemini and the sun is our ego, right? And Gemini is the sign of communication. It is governed by Mercury, but its communication is more about like our day-to-day or our current drama. It's more grounded in what's going on around us. Well, Sag is more about the future. It's about travel. It's about philosophy. It's about higher thinking. So that's the internal, part of this full moon. Like, don't get caught up in all of the daily minutia and drama that our egos is bringing through this sun in Gemini, and to use this full moon to release any of that old drama or that old residual from whatever the eclipse has brought up from you, into, help manifest that into higher, learning. But with that said, we also know that full moons bring up a lot of energy, and we tend to go crazy. We tend to like spout off when we didn't mean to spout off, or we tend to do something crazy when we didn't mean to do something crazy. So, you may need to bring up a little bit of drama. You may need to, release some conversations that needed to be happening with various people in order to move forward in this progression that we're seeing through all of these energies coming up through the rest of the year. So I see this as a really important full moon. There's just a whole lot of other things with Pluto, etc., and those nodes changing and stuff. But I'm really interested now, Brett, to see what the cards say about that.
Well, I gotta tell you, Cindy, like, I deal these out when you're talking, and these cards just bang, bang on everything you hit. And I love that we get to do the astrology and the tarot. And you ask me question, guess what, go retrograde? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not the astrologer. But that was fun because I usually can keep up with that. But right now, everything, I rely on your help to keep me informed because I need it. You know what I mean? You're my guide too. The first card, I'm going to read an oracle first, but the first card out is the Tower. Sudden change, upheavals, so and there's other magical things we're going to hit on here as we take the journey through the tarot. And we're going to hit on when these planets interact on these cards. We're going to go through it and do that. So right now, though, I'm going to pull a Rumi oracle card. And for everybody out there, please like and subscribe for our hard work. We appreciation, make some comments. This is a general reading for everybody. It's not for sun, moon, rising. It's just for everybody. All going to be affected in a certain way, and how those things line up for you is what Cindy can cover. So get a personal reading, go get deeper into what's going on with you. Like I said, you're looking to explore the energy that's around you. I'll connect to that and help you walk your way through the energy too. So it's such a special occasion for us to put our energy together for you today. Thank you, Cindy, again for being a part of this, my friend. All right, so I'm gonna cut it. The oracles always just nail it every time.
I look forward to this the most about the cards, because seriously, since we started doing this, the oracle always is spot on.
Okay, so we got card number 25. How that relates to y'all. Number 25. It's called Beyond the Threshold of Fear. Beautiful stuff here. Card number 25. All right, let me pull this
Right,
up.
because, without even knowing what it's going to say, I mean, fear, change. Even though we get excited and we have all kinds of plans about change, fear is always attached to change.
Fear can be attached to anything that you attach it to, right? Right. I mean, it's you doing it. But once you learn to step through the threshold, which we're going to read, we'll do the enlightening right now. So after so long, you are changing your relationship to fear. No more shall it hold you in its thrall. You are becoming able to observe it, to witness it, even to have compassion rather than resistance. Instead of unconsciously sabotaging your growth and choosing to slumber in darkness, you're awakened and delight in the light and the sound of your divine being. Push and pull, one step forward and a half step back. So it has been for so long, and you have endured. Yes, you are winning the race, brave one, and fear is left to fizzle out. It was always a fear less beautiful, It was always a far less beautiful firework. I'm losing my spot, sorry. It's an exciting reading. It was always a far less beautiful firework than your passionate conviction for love anyways. Better to let that dazzling firework come to light instead is much more satisfying. Oh, what a spiritual marathon you have been running. Now the end is in sight. You are drinking the sacred waters to replenish you from your journey. The cups are pushed into your hands by encouraging angels as you approach the blessed sash marking the finish line. Your body and soul are on this journey together, and now they are ready for victory, and yes, to rest and recover from the effort. Rest now before a new adventure begins from a completely different state of being. This oracle comes to you with spiritual guidance. You have broken through a barrier, a self-imposed barrier of fear, whether it seems to originate from within your conscious or from an external set of circumstances. These are the things that hold you back from taking steps, and you're just not certain about, what step to take. These steps may feel strange, new, uncertain, and exciting. Your mind might not have received the memo that fear-based existence is no longer in operation for you. It may need a loving, tender, reassuring, and firm update that the relationship you have with fear is now rather different. You are the witness, not the victim. Your consciousness is strong enough to hold it in compassion. You don't collapse under its weight. In fact, it is becoming less and less substantial for you. When it is there, it seems less convincing than what it once appeared to be. Compelling still at times, perhaps, but not anywhere near as powerful as it once was. That power has been claimed by your heart instead. So give your mind the memo. Get used to the new way and take steps. Test your legs. You'll find them powerful and ready. Get set to fly, so test your wings. Trust is one, daring is the other. You'll find them enthusiastic for flight and ready to learn to ride the currents. Purpose built for soaring to great heights. Trust in your vision. Without the murky filter of fear, it is sharp and clear. You can see what is meant for you, what is true for you, what is beckoning you forward now. Take the running leap. There is no darkness and light for you anymore, just life, living free and clear. I'll be running and flying beside you. We'll soar and dive and rise together. Let's play.
So, I just gotta, I'm just gonna do a recap on that, because I really want our listeners to understand about how astrology does integrate with the cards, and why like an astrology reading and a tarot reading really do help support each other. So I just went through that whole astrological overview, right? And now we just listened to this oracle card, and I'm going to pull out a couple of words and tell you where they related to that astrological reading, right? So it says first of all, the Tower card, which wasn't the oracle, that's all about the eclipses, right? And I'm not surprised it's still coming up, because we're still dealing with residual energy. But when we got to the oracle card, the very first thing that it talked about was changing your relationship to fear. And then it talked about not sabotaging yourself. Okay, that's your reminder that when Neptune goes retrograde in July, do not sabotage yourself, right? And then it also talked about, one step back, one step forward. Okay, well, that's Pluto, right? That's Pluto moving from Capricorn to Aquarius. And I said, you have one foot in the past and one step in the future. That oracle just told us to be mindful of that. And then it also talked about rest and recovery. Well, what is Taurus all about, really? They're just sitting around kind of chilling and resting and recovering from all of this energy. And then it said, hold all this fear in with compassion. Okay, well, that's Venus. Venus is going to go retrograde, and it's going to ask you to, reevaluate yourself, or whatever it means for love and values, which is basically saying give yourself a lot of compassion. And then it talked about testing, right? Testing what you need to do going forward. Okay, well, there's Jupiter coming in September. And I said, we have to start gathering all of our resources. That's a type of testing when we're deciding what resources we're going to use going forward. So again, that card spot on with our astrology.
Yep. We always know how to put this together. So current situation, we've got the card called the Wild Hunt, but yes, it is the Tower. Card number 16, representative of our lovely planet Mars, Scorpio and Aries energy. You know, these are sudden changes and shifts. You know, these, like I said, these happen almost. I'm almost not recovered, not ready for the next change, because things, there's a theme there of change, change, change. And I have to, as a Pisces, keep adapting to the change. Because it will, you know, these towers are about letting things happen and also staying on top of what's important. And you've got to let go of something to grab something. So, you know, towers represent the changing energies around all of us right now. And these are unforeseen. You know, you and I can't see what's going to happen next, but we can kind of feel it, right? I know in all of our lives, we can feel change, especially when we can link to our intuitive side, and really hear our own inner voice here. You know, this is about working so hard at something, you just realize, do I put any more energy into it, or do I let this bitch burn? You know what I mean? Because these towers promote growth, right? Something had to end so that something new can come in. And the next cards that come through, we're going to get to it because it gets more exciting. Our current challenge right now is the King of Swords. And he's in the upright, but this is the guy, this is the shot caller, big baller person, you know, the big authority here. It's about setting standards higher than we have. We do have to set standards higher than we have. We've got to come out and not return to where we might have been. We've got to rise above. I feel this card is telling us to, you know, search for our own personal truth right now and take that energy and make what's coming next. Okay, because the next card, these are going to kind of fly out. I may clarify, I may not, but this is just going to hit. The subconscious, the Ace of Pentacles. You know, we're talking about the earth and the water and these changes. This Ace of Pentacles takes a long time to grow, but this is the seed right now. And we should all be feeling these seeds of, you know, something's calling me in. I'm planting seeds right now for something that's going to grow later. I can't wait to tell you about the card that's across from it, because this is what we're creating right now. This is we want that big coin, that big seed being put out so that it puts out the fruits of the energy that we're putting in. I believe the towers, you know, allowing us, as hard as those towers might be, to open up, to clean our fields out so we can plant those big seeds, so we can give it everything we've got. These are divine offerings. So I feel like people are already feeling these offers coming. You know, we talked about career and stability. Ace of Pentacles, you know, right now we're planting these seeds of growth and opportunity. Yeah, towers are happening, but those are the opportunities too, to find whatever that seed is to you and I.
For sure.
You know? And so right on top, the crowning energy, the Four of Wands. This is celebrations. You know, this is celebrating our small victories and realizing how far we've come and how much we've changed and grown. And right now, the Four of Wands is, you know, people are getting married. These are celebrations. And, you know, this is our hard work paying off. Even if stuff is still changing, we need to realize we need to still celebrate ourselves. And I love that it's in our crowning energy of our third chakra. This is related to Aries too, with that. So it's promoting something here. You know, it's you know, the excitement is the one thing I always like with this. But you can have these celebrations because you've created stability, right? Even in all this fluxing and change, remaining stable so we can continue to celebrate is important, you know, through all these changes, because it's different for all of us. It's always going to be different. When we look into the recent past, we got two cards for the recent past. This card is called Harvest. Okay, but this is the Judgment card. Card number 20. You know, we're looking to the past here. It's related to Pluto, Scorpio, and really associated with this tower, right? Transformative. You know, we're harvesting something here, but it is also judgment. It's karma. You know, the bad things that happen to us are leading us to where we need to be. Once we embrace the endings for these new beginnings, we can harvest our lessons, right? And move forward from the past so we can get through this tower. With that, we've got the Three of Swords. You know, this is the heartbreaker. You know, this is getting through the pain of our past, you know, and our emotional anguish we carried for so long. You know, some of us have lost love in our life, lost our people in our lives. I just lost my uncle. But this also triggered joy and memories and change. You know what I mean? And it's enlightening me and helping me. So we're looking at our past here, ready to, because when you hit the 20, the judgment, you ready, once you hit that and you actually succeed, because not all of us are going to succeed. People are going to return to what they have. If they didn't learn the lesson, they're going back to reset. And you get to do it all
Yeah,
again.
that's the low road. You know, we can't, it's like the fork in the road. There's books written about it, you know, taking the road less traveled.
If we take those three swords, those heartbreaks and those things and the pain with us, we don't get to plant our seed in a good field. We're planting it in mud and muck and our own sabotage. You know what I mean? It tells me it doesn't resonate out there. Please
Yeah,
like and
for sure.
make some comments. So I don't know if you want to add any more about that, but we're crossing over this. We all have the opportunity to walk through this portal, don't we? You know what I mean? But you have
Which
to.
really is, the eclipses are sometimes, if you read about them, you will see the word portal. Like they are the portal to the future.
For sure. And we're stepping through it. I mean, this is the power. Yeah, I love the tarot and I love talking about it. Like I said, check me out for a reading sometime and let's get some energy juiced up in this room. I want to know what's going on with you. So once we cross this tower, once we've harvested our lessons from the past, we cross over, we hit 8 of Pentacles. That's the glow up energy, you know, that's like I'm like leveled up and I am working on myself or whatever that big pentacle is. It's showing when we accept, we can master and like really start to put out more positive things. You know, it is a lot of work, right? Nothing here is ever going to be free and easy. And trust me, the bigger the dream, the more the work, but the more the rewarding. And do it with free energy. Don't take this stuff from the past with us. You know what I mean? This is where you learn to break those karmic cycles. Judgment's here. Like, you know, that is the portal. Portal's only open for so long. And then you get trapped in that reality for the next cycle if you don't keep working on yourself, working on what's important. But you can't overwork. I mean, this is also a card of workaholic, not having fun. Maybe because you're focusing on
right, because remember too, those nodal axles are changing to the Aries Libra, so it's a balance. How do we, you know, embrace ourselves without alienating others?
Yeah, I think it also tells you that this card is speaking to me to also remind you to make time to have fun, play. Yeah, we can do the work and we can also balance having some fun too once in a while. So 8 of Pentacles is also Virgo energy, Earth, you know, stability. And Virgo is they're saying is they're very analytical, the Virgo, when they look at the details. And you can see this guy chiseling away on this work of art. And it's like I said, stepping through the portal, you're activating something. Here's the thing.
And you know, with Virgo too, Brett, I'm coming to appreciate them a whole lot more because not only is it the detail, but it's just the routine. And sometimes, you know, as much as some of our signs don't like routine, we need routine, because if we don't have routine, which is also that stability of Taurus, then, you know, we fall into escapism. We fall into that low road.
Right. Like I said, and then the portal's open right now. You know, all things are crashing around us. Do you want to stay here and be stuck here, or do you want to let this thing move out of your energy so you can transition into, and like I said, this is more of a focus of the self. And what can I create? I mean, this guy is creating something. You know, what are you creating right now? Some people aren't creating good things. You know what I mean? This guy seems to be working on something because he wants to get better. He wants to improve. He doesn't want to stay in this. I don't want to stay in this. I want to rise above it. Our challenge, King of Swords, right? So here's the thing that I always just love, you know, because the energy is also promoting action. And we talked about Sagittarius. Well, in our power area card, we get Temperance, the card of Sagittarius. You know, you want to talk about some patience, you know, having patience through all of these towers. It's hard. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm a pretty grounded guy, but it does take its toll, you know. But if I ever try to not be patient or something trips that trigger, just like you were talking about, when full moons, you say something you didn't mean. Yeah, I can set off another tower you didn't mean to. So be patient with everything. I was, you know, and this is Sagittarius too. It's a mutable fire energy, and it's reminding us to be patient and wait for the proper time and alignment for us. And it's right across from that Ace of Pentacles, the one that I told you is the longest one that you plant. It takes a long time to grow and nurture. It just is. That's just the way it is. This card's about being dedicated and staying focused rather than being distracted on all these towers, because those energies are there to distract you. They want you to watch this whole tower burn and like make a movie out of it. You know, we don't want to watch a movie on it. We want to get to, well, when is the happy ending? I want to see the happy ending. I don't want to, you know, there's drama back there, but I want to see the happy ending. I want to see what's ahead of me. So be patient right now.
Yeah, and like you know, bringing in, like you said, the full moon there was Sagittarius. I did say, because the sun is in Gemini, there may be words that do need to be said, but
right.
we don't want to let our triggers or our traumas drive those words. Yeah, I think just keeping that word temperance in your mind, if there's something that needs to be said under this full moon, temper what you're going to say.
So I'm also going to add, for like numerology fans, you know, card number 14, Temperance, is linked to the Hierophant and Taurus. You know, we talked about this, and the Hierophant is guidance. You know what I mean? And it is a divine. That's another portal. It's trying to help you get there. It's trying to get you there in a way that you need it. You know, whether that relationship needs to go, that job, or if you've been searching, finding that thing that keeps you moving forward. You know, there's the dark and the light here. We can always go, oh, towers, but you know, when we get through and we look back and go, God, thank God I'm out of that relationship. Thank God that's finally over, right? But it's a lot of work to get through this, right? And things are always changing. I mean, flux, retrogrades, lines,
Adaptability.
Oh my. So our environment here, the old Eight of Wands. Again, this is Sagittarius energy, mutable fire. This is the first card in the reverse. Just gonna say that. Everything else has been upright, except for the Eight of Wands, and I really feel like it's talking to that Eight of Pentacles. And this is across from the challenge. You know, Eight of Wands in the reverse here. You can. It is deeply frustrating. This is a deeply frustrating event. It's almost like a kid holding a piece of candy away from you. You want so much to kick him in the balls and get that piece of candy, but you gotta wait till his guard's down or the time is right. You know what I mean? And this is trying to right now, you know, there's going to be people trying to rain on your parade. But with this,
those retrogrades, remember, reflect, redesign, refine, recreate.
Don't let people take the jelly out of your donut, is what I hear with this. Because there's those people that say you can't, because they're trying to trap you in these towers. You know what I mean? But you've got to use that energy to propel you, because when you do, you create a reality. You create your own reality, not theirs. You know what I mean? I'm out of it. I'm now moving in my own direction. So this is the environment for everybody. And the current towers. Like I said, that tower gives me a headache. But you know, I know it's for my own good, and it's telling me what I need to do if I listen to all those intuitive signs that I get, and knowing that I'm going to be challenged beyond all belief, I'm going to make it. I just know I can do this. our hopes and our fears. And, and we're talking about the intuitive self here. We got the High Priestess, number 2 card, and we talked about the moon. The High Priestess, she's totally linked to the moon. And I love this card because she's creating something in the moonlight. I don't know how well they can see it out there, but she's cooking up something. Whether you're cooking it up or the universe is cooking it up, it's about being patient while this is happening, while this is waiting for things to come into balance. I mean, I think that's a lot of things for a lot of us with all these shifts. Is I even told you, I feel off balance all the time. And it's got me kind of jumpy and thinking too far ahead. And if I get too far ahead, I may miss something. But the High Priestess is telling you, in this hopes and the fears, follow your intuition. Don't listen to other people. You've got to follow and walk your path. We all have our different paths in life. There's no wrong.
Don't follow the recipe. You
Yeah.
decide what ingredients you need.
Well, and this,
what ingredients you are not going to use, what ingredients you're going to release.
Yeah. Get rid of those people that make your stew wrong, or the people that want to help you cook your stew. Too many cooks.
Correct.
Right. Causes a mess. Too many emotions on the earth. It gets muddy. We get stuck. We get trapped. I love how you just said that. You're creating this. Make sure you put the good stuff into it. This seed right here. It's not, you put the bad stuff into it, it turns upside down and it sinks in the mud. And now you get to go back through the cycle to try and get this back. Follow your heart right now is what I feel like the High Priestess is. This is Cancer energy too. Once we get out of Gemini, what's the next season?
Cancer.
Right? So as we get into Cancer, I'm just saying, follow your intuition. Cancer is all about feeling your way. Cancer's feel, that's their theme. Feel your way through this and do it with less burden. Let that tower fall, release those things that weren't meant for you. That was also in, beyond the threshold here. Follow your light and reveal all those things. All the things that have been hidden from you have been revealed. You've seen them. Now, do you put the rosy colored glasses on and just, or do you empower yourself to release yourself from them? Like I said, this is a guiding card. So this is what I love here. The last card, the outcome. And it couldn't be any other freaking card. It's card number 13. It's death. It's the transform. This is Scorpio, Mars, and Pluto again. And this is linked to the towers. Hello, universe out there, right? It's time for transformation. It is time for the towers to have. I mean, I really don't need to. I feel like we've discussed this. You've got to put something to an end. You've got to walk through the portal and transform. I mean, these messages are all over this table and they're all over your life. I don't care who you are. They're happening to you right there, right now. And there's things in the stars that are triggering those. And it's all different for all of you. So if you want something more in tune to you, look up Cindy and I. I am going to leave this right here. I am going to just say the last card on the bottom of the deck. We'll put this as the bonus. It's the Page of Pentacles. Do you see, it's like a kid manifesting something. The dog's watching and I feel like he's alchemizing. Pages are about communications and good things. I feel good things coming in to help get us, because the universe won't always put us in the dark. It's going to also give us that light to gravitate towards. But you have to take off the glasses and really see yourself for who it is. But be careful of what you manifest. When you're cooking this stew and the hopes and the fears, if you put the wrong things in, that pentacle could blow up. And the Page of Pentacles is kind of a childish energy. You know what I mean? So if you kind of blow things off, they may not manifest as you are. You really
Reckless.
This card is also telling you the world is full of possibilities too, because it's an embrace of it's ambition. And once you get past that 10th pentacle, now you're more ambitious. Once you get a taste of knowing you can do something, poof, you start creating magic. So I'm going to say everybody's got this magic in them. You have to have these towers to unlock it. I've had to go through a lot to become this empath, this person you see here. I'm so happy. All of those lessons, all those tears have got me here. And I'm so grateful be sharing it with Cindy and the universe and all you awesome people out there that want to like and subscribe to these two knuckleheads trying to help the world out there. Sam, I'm gonna turn it over to you and just thank you so much for putting this together and our energy to the world. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just so happy to be here too, Brett. This has actually uplifted my own day. And, you know, I get stuck in my head because I'm an Aquarian and, you know, I live in my head and I live alone. And so, you know, to do this with you and to kind of put it on the table, so to speak, literally,
Right.
and to let it all out is very cathartic for me.
Me
I
too.
hope that it's cathartic for everyone because like Brett said, you know, you may not be really thinking about these things as much as Brett and I think about them, but guarantee they are happening. And I hope that, you know, we all handle change differently. You mentioned that too, depending on your sign or what your chart is looking like will depend on, you know, how these energies are being handled or what they're moving you towards. So, you know, peace be with you all. And if you want more help and guidance with that, yeah, just hit Brett and I up.
Yeah, all my love and light, everybody out there. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Bye now.